Alright guys, hey, welcome to my vlog. I will be explaining a Common Core state standard in English language literacy for second grade today. The standard itself is to be able to recount stories, including fables and folktales from diverse cultures and determine their central message, lesson, or moral. I chose this standard because I'm most interested in teaching in elementary school, and my favorite subject was always reading and literature. And I always thought reading is just so important in acquiring knowledge. And once you can learn to read intentionally and understand the content, the sky's the limit for growing comprehension. So the big ideas in this standard, I kind of took inspiration from Bloom's taxonomy, which I saw in one of the articles in the activity resources for this assignment. So for this one, we have the first recount the stories, which kind of uses remember, which is kind of the lowest level of Bloom's taxonomy, and then determine. Determine their central message, lesson, or moral, which kind of uses to understand and apply, which are the second and third level of Bloom's taxonomy. So they have to be able to recognize what the central message is, and as well as a lesson and moral, and then be able to apply those concepts to different stories. Some of the skills, more specifically, are recalling facts and basic concepts of the story to be able to recount it, and then again, recognizing to identify the central message, as well as what the lesson and or moral are, and then applying those concepts. Some activities I thought about are in person. I was thinking for learning to define the vocab, we can start the lesson. The teacher will start the lessons, and we'll have the concepts like the vocab, the central message, the lesson/moral written on the board, and then ask students what they think these words mean just to get started. And then together as a class, we can then read a fable and have a kind of teacher-led discussion or teacher-facilitated discussion, defining and giving examples of what the central message is, as well as then what the lesson or the moral of the story, while incorporating feedback from the students and asking for their opinions and what they're thinking about it. Then the teacher would then have like a whiteboard or a big piece of paper, something accessible to the students that they can easily write on, with the vocab written at the top. So kind of just a chart, and then having another story, going through it and identifying each concept, and then as we identify the central message, having volunteers come up and write it down on the board or a piece of paper that they can easily reach and access, the students. And then another in-person activity would be having students partner up to take turns, going back and forth, reading a book of their choice, chosen from the classroom books that are available. Then have students switch partners and explain the central idea and the lesson or moral of their story to a new partner, and then have the other partner go. And then online activities, I was thinking of like assigning each student a different character and have them act it out or kind of reading it, kind of like a script or a play. Another fun online activity could be like finding a natural item of interest to the students, and then in small groups, they can kind of make up their own folktale about how that item came to be. And then as far as the assessments go, for formative assessments, I was thinking of having just quick and frequent checks for understanding by kind of using true or false questions. And just having them give me like a thumbs up, thumbs down, or as for true or false. And then using exit slips with a question about the story, read in class. And then for a summative assessment, I thought it would be cool to have students partner up to create a fable or folktale with a central message and moral. And I would use heterogeneous grouping, so students with lower literacy skills can learn from peers with higher literacy skills, and then high-level readers can deepen their comprehension by explaining concepts to lower level reading peers. And yeah, and so that's it. Thanks for listening.